What's up, y'all? My name is Tyler Conger, and this is my first ever YouTube video. That's right, we're really doing this. So a while ago, I put this post on Facebook pretty much asking what are some things you wish that were taught in high school. And the answers ranged from cars to finances and pretty much basic life skills all around. So I decided to start this series called TBT. And just a disclaimer, these are the things that I found work best for me, and they may work for you as well. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about everything finances. Let's go. Actually, sorry, it's this way.
What? You're going the wrong way!
So odds are you've heard of these, and you've been letting Uncle Sam take advantage of you. I'm talking about taxes. Taxes are money that people have to pay the government. The government uses the money it gets from taxes to pay for things. For example, taxes are used to pay for people who work for the government, such as the military and police, to provide such services as education, healthcare, and to maintain or build things like roads, bridges, and sewers. That's the basic definition, but you get the gist of it. So now what? We're actually going to get some help from my accountant.
Hi, I'm Chris Conger. I've been an accountant for over 30 years, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do your taxes. A lot of people think it's harder than it really is, especially if you don't have like a business or a lot of deductions. If you have a regular job with an employer, they'll give you a W-2 at the end of the year that tells you how much you made that year, how much federal, state, local taxes were taken out, and any other things that may have been deducted. You can use that to fill out your taxes. If you're going to have somebody else do it, you'll need that, and you'll need any other deductions that you may have, such as student interest or contributions to charitable organizations, anything like that. Also, you might get a 1099 from somebody if you're like a contractor or independent contractor. A 1099, which is kind of like a W-2, but there's just a different spot on the tax form to put that on. You can have somebody do it, but it's really not that hard, especially if you use like H&R Block tax software. It talks you through the whole thing, walks you through it. You take your W-2 or your 1099 and plug in the numbers right where they tell you to. They'll answer some questions, and based on those questions and any other deductions that you enter in there, it'll fill out your taxes. You can file right there online. So it's not that hard, so don't be too overwhelmed. Save a little bit of money and just do your own taxes.
So now I want to talk to you guys about credit cards. There's actually a couple tips that you should probably know, and my buddy Zach's going to help us out with that.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Zach. I'm an accountant. So I guess first of all, what is a credit score? It's basically a score of how banks and financial institutions rate you based on how you've interacted with debt. So what makes up that credit score? Your payment history. Have you made your payments on time every single month for the history that you've had any type of debt? The second one is going to be your utilization rate. So if you have a credit card and say your credit limit's $1,000 and you have $100 outstanding on that credit card, your utilization rate is 10%. And then the third big one is going to be the length of your credit history. So how long have you had an interaction with debt? How long have you had an account open? And really, the longer the better. Those are the three main ones, I would say. The rest of them are the number of accounts you have and the mix of those accounts you have. So there's credit cards. You could have a car loan, a mortgage loan, things like that. Credit agencies want to see how you handle those different types of debt. And then the last one is going to be inquiries for credit. So anytime you apply for a new type of credit, whether it's a credit card, a car loan, student loans even, mortgages, you're given what's called a hard inquiry. You kind of have to have some of these if you're going to have any relationship with debt. So they're really not that big of a deal, but having too many can be a small red flag.
So a good tip to build credit is to actually shop around for the best credit card for you. A low percentage is great, but you really should be taking advantage of all the reward points you could possibly get. For example, I personally have an Amazon card and a Southwest card. Now I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. It's kind of a problem. Don't really need to get into it. But my Amazon card gives me 5% back on every purchase I make on Amazon. Basically meaning for every $100 I spend on Amazon, I make $5. And that can be huge in savings. My Southwest card, I get a point for every dollar I spend. Basically meaning no matter what I spend it on, I get 1 point. And I can use those points to book hotels or travel, book flights, anything like that. But the biggest thing is, a lot of people get in credit card debt. And the best tip to make sure you don't get into credit card debt is to use your credit card like a debit card. Essentially what I'm saying is every time you swipe that credit card, get on your website, whether it be Chase or whatever bank you're with, and pay it off immediately. Basically this way you'll never accrue late fees or interest fees. That being said, credit cards aren't the only thing you should be shopping around for. According to moneyunder30.com, the amount of loans one person should have is 40% or less of their monthly income. I know, sounds confusing. Just take a deep breath. I'm gonna explain it to you. Let's say you make $3,000 a month and you've got a mortgage, car loan, credit card bills, electric bills, things like that. The total you should be paying per month is $1,400 or less. That's 40% of your income. And here's the thing, just because you have a mortgage or student loan or car loan doesn't mean you're stuck with the rate that they gave you. There are a ton of companies out there with lower rates and they want your business as well. For example, I have student loans. And just by refinancing down to a lower rate, I'm saving a couple $1,000s a year that I can put towards the loan itself or towards other things like video games or guns, whatever you like. So that being said, we're gonna go back to my buddy Zach, and he's gonna say a little bit more about refinancing.
Okay, so basically what refinancing is, very simplistically, is moving your debt from one place to another. Now, there are benefits to doing this. One example would be with your student loans. It's kind of confusing to keep track of all of them, so what you can do is you can refinance all those different loans into one easy monthly payment. Another reason you may want to refinance is changing the terms of the loan. Maybe you got a new job and you got a raise. One of the things you can do is shorten that loan term. What that would do is probably raise your monthly payment, but it would lower your interest rate, so you'd be paying less over time.
All right, so that brings us to tip number 4, I believe. Start investing ASAP. The younger, the better. So one of my favorite guys to follow about financing and investments is Dave Ramsey. So he actually said that if you invest $2,000 from the time you're 19 to you're 26, and you do that every year, that you'll have $700,000 more than someone who invests from age 27 until they're 65. Just in case that confuses you, here's the chart, and I'll explain a little more. Basically, this chart shows that Ben has been investing $2,000 every year for 7 years, and then he stops investing. Arthur, on the other hand, has been investing $2,000 every year from the time he was 27 until he's 65. Now, assuming they're the same age and they turn 65 around the same time, Ben has roughly $2.3 million and he stopped investing at age 26. Arthur has $700,000 left and he's put in way more money over that time frame. There's so many different ways that you can go about investing, so as soon as you can, do it. My buddy Rob is actually going to tell us a little bit more about how to invest.
All right, my name's Rob Gore. I used to be a financial advisor licensed. If you're new to a job that offers you a 401k, definitely want to see when you become eligible to invest in your 401k, you want to invest up to the match. Now, what do you invest that in? 401ks are all pre-taxed. That means that the investment, like the match, would not be taxed. The bad news is when you go to pull that money out, you're going to be taxed on it. If your 401k offers a Roth portion, I would invest my dollars in the Roth side. When you take your money out, it'll come out tax-free. So that's what I would do. Definitely participate up to the match, get that free money, so that when the time comes to retire, you're pulling out a tax-free bucket.
Now, there are a ton of different companies that you can use if your work doesn't offer an investment plan. Now, this isn't sponsored at all. I'm doing this for free, but I recommend Vanguard. It's so easy. So there's a whole bunch of different funds that you can choose from, but what I did personally, what seemed to work, is I opened an account and I selected a target retirement date. Now, a target retirement date is when you're projected to actually retire from work and begin your retirement. For me, it was around 2060, 2065, somewhere in there. Oh, I just realized I gotta work for another 40 years.
No, God! No! God, please, no! No!
So then, after you select your target retirement date, you can hook up your bank account and just have automatic withdrawals, weekly or monthly, whatever works for you. Automatic withdrawals are basically you saying, hey, $25 a week is automatically going to come out of my bank account and into my investment account. And then Vanguard does the rest of the work. They're going to adjust how much money goes in stocks and how much is in bonds. And it just changes based on how close you get to that retirement date. And that's it. You just put money into it, they adjust it, and at the end, you make money. It's a pretty good trade-off if you ask me. Last but not least, tip number 5. It's basically the whole point of this entire video. Money management. So if you're unsure where all your money is going to and you're just trying to get a grasp of that and understand how much you're spending on what, I recommend Truebill or Mint. They're great apps and they're absolutely free. So basically these apps will sync up with your credit cards, your debit cards, and even like your loan payments for your mortgage or your car payments or your student loans. And then it'll track how much money a month you're spending on your loans or on your groceries or on travel or on food. So the great thing is you can set limits on the app in certain categories, including your groceries or food, or travel, or entertainment, movies, anything like that. And it'll send you a notification and let you know that you've spent too much that month. It just really helps you understand where you're spending your money and where you should spend less and where you could spend more. And once you figure that out, make a plan and stick to it. Save up for that new car, save up for that mortgage for your new house. Whatever that plan is, stick to it. And in the end, I promise you, it'll be worth it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. It really means a lot to me. I'm gonna try to keep this series going. I'm thinking cars or something like that next, but comment below what you think I should do next. And lastly, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.